Hi everyone, my name is Martha. Welcome to my channel Martha Is. This is my very first proper YouTube video, so I am super excited. And what I wanted to talk to you about today was the first prompt from the Reading Women Challenge. So the Reading Women Challenge is run by the lovely ladies who run the Reading Women podcast. And the challenge is they set 24 prompts and 2 bonus ones to read basically books by women. How many times am I going to say reading women in this podcast? Anyway, so what I thought I would do is talk about each of the prompts that I think I have lots of different options for, so that won't be every single one, but some of them, because I am not someone who can easily kind of set myself a list, like I'm going to read one book per prompt, because I then get rebellious and don't do it because I'm an insufferably contrary person. So what I thought I'd do is take you through some of the options that I have read previously that would work for this prompt if you're looking for recommendations, and then some of the books that are on my TBR that I may choose to fit this prompt. And all of the details about all of the books will be in the description box down below, along with links to all of my other platforms if you'd like to go and take a look. So let's get cracking. So the first prompt is author from the Caribbean or India. So I'm going to start with the books I've read that would work for this prompt if you need recommendations. So the first one, I should say the first one and the only one from India that I have on my shelves, and I don't understand why this is the case because I've definitely read more than one Indian author, but I must have just not kept the books. But also please recommend me some Indian women to read. But the one that I would like to recommend you is Belonging by Umi Sinha. So I read this towards the end of 2018. It's a historical fiction, and it's basically split, told like by 3 different generations in kind of 2 locations. So you see, you're switching back between different time periods. So you've got Lena, who is living in the UK. She was born in India, and she's living in England, and it's during the kind of First World War period. And that's kind of more like told like a novel. And then you see her father, Henry, you see his diaries. And he's living and grew up in India. And then you see his mother, who I think her name is Cecily, her letters home. So she was born in England, and then she married a soldier and moved over to India, and she sends letters home to her family. So you're switching between these 3 different time periods of these 3 different generations of the family, and cutting back in between England and India. And it was just so beautifully written, and I learned so much about it that I didn't know. I really don't know much at all about England's history or Great Britain's history in India and the colonialism there. And so this actually taught me a lot and made me want to go and read more about that, because I'm clearly completely ignorant on that score. But it is, it's a really, really beautifully written historical fiction, and I would highly recommend it. So that's India. If you can please let me know some other recommendations for India, that'd be great. So onto the Caribbean, we have The Confessions of Franny Langton by Sarah Collins. I flipping loved this book. It's basically like a gothic murder mystery. So you've got Franny, who is a maid to Mr. and Mrs. Benham, and when we first meet her, she is in jail awaiting trial for murdering her employers, Mr. and Mrs. Benham. And I had the pleasure of meeting Sarah Collins, and one of the things that she said is that it's sort of a response to Wide Sargasso Sea. Wide Sargasso Sea is in itself a response to Jane Eyre, so there's this whole kind of gothic vibe going on, and I really liked it. So I would highly recommend that one. And also look at this cover, it's so pretty. And then if you want some non-fiction, we have The Politics of Black Women's Hair by Althea Prince. So Althea Prince, I believe, is from Antigua, and so this is a non-fiction. It's kind of a collection of essays, vignettes where from her own experience, and where she's talked to a handful of other people about what it's like growing up and living with kind of black hair, afro hair, and how that is politicised, and kind of the pressures from within the black community and outside of the black community to conform to kind of white beauty ideals and that sort of thing. So I have a fuller review of this on my Instagram if you'd like to go and take a look. I did enjoy it and I found it really interesting. I wanted a bit more from it. It's very thin, so it's a good starting point, but I'm sure there are other books to go on to which I will be looking at in the future. So those are 3 that I would recommend. So now to move on to the ones that are on my TBR, some options. So we have Dancing to Almendra. So Mayra Montero, she is from Cuba. And this book is set in Havana in 1957, so I'll read you the blurb. On the same day that the mafia capo Umberto Anastasia is assassinated in a barber's chair in New York, a hippopotamus escapes from Havana Zoo. Joaquin Peralta is the young Cuban journalist assigned to cover the latter story, but told by a secretive zookeeper that he knows too much, he soon discovers that the 2 events are not as unconnected as they might initially seem. An ardent and thrilling tale of innocence lost, of Havana's secret one-time world of violence, fantastic characters and extravagant crimes, Dancing to Almendra is a triumph of storytelling from one of Latin America's most impassioned and intoxicating voices. So I'm looking forward to that. That definitely sounds like a good option. It sounds kind of, yeah, I'm just taking this from the fact that it says Mafia Capo, but I'm guessing it's going to have like a kind of mafia crime vibe, which is not something that I've really read before. So that's cool. Then we have The White Woman on the Green Bicycle by Monique Roffey. Just dropped it. I have had this on my TBR for about 100 years. I don't actually know why/where I got it from. Also, another lovely colour. Green is my favourite colour, so I'm all over that. So I'll read you the blurb for this one. When George and Sabine Harwood arrive in Trinidad from England, George is immediately seduced by the beguiling island, but Sabine feels isolated, heat-fatigued and ill at ease. Her only solace is her growing fixation from Eric Williams, the charismatic leader of Trinidad's new National Party, to whom she pours out all her hopes and fears for the future in letters that she never brings herself to send. As the years progress, George and Sabine's marriage endures for better and for worse. When George discovers Sabine's cache of letters, he realises just how many secrets she's kept from him, and he from her, over the decades, and he is seized by an urgent, desperate need to prove his love for her. So that one looks quite good, and it probably would be a good idea for me to get to that because of how long I've owned it. So I believe Monique Roffey is from Trinidad and Tobago, so that would fit. I also don't know about you, but basically I've realised it's all historical fiction, apart from like my one non-fiction. So anyone who has any recommendations of, you know, things currently set in the Caribbean, send them my way. Now I have for you another historical fiction. The Pirate's Daughter by Margaret Cezair-Thompson. So this is set in 1946 and is described as Hollywood comes to Jamaica, bringing adventure and glamour. So, when legendary swashbuckler Errol Flynn washes ashore in his yacht in Jamaica, teenaged Ida Joseph makes it her business to meet him. For Flynn, Jamaica is a revelation, a tropical paradise that promises adventure and a fresh start. When he and Ida do meet, he is intrigued by her poise and singles her out for attention. Soon, Flynn has made a home for himself on Navy Island, where he entertains the cream of Hollywood, and Ida has set her heart on this charismatic older man. Ida's child, May, will meet her famous father only once. The Pirate's Daughter is a tale of passion and recklessness, of a mother's battle to protect her child, and of a nation struggling to rise to the challenge of hard-won independence. It is a story as spellbinding as even the richest haul of pirate treasure. Well, you can't argue with that, can you? So, yes, so this one's another historical fiction. The author is from Jamaica. This one's a bit of a beast, which may put me off choosing that, but that's terrible, so I need to start reading longer books. So my last book is Ayiti by Roxane Gay. So this one, I don't know if it technically counts, because Roxane Gay was born in America. So it depends how, you know, technical you want to be about what we mean by author from Caribbean or India. So she's born in America. She is of Haitian descent. She has written a great many books I would highly recommend. But the reason I chose this one for this video, because she technically wasn't born in Haiti, is because this book is still about Haiti. So it's a collection of short stories exploring the Haitian diaspora experience. So I feel like that kind of counts, but if we're being technical, it might not. But here we are, so it's Ayiti, another lovely cover. Great, so that's all the options I have for you. Let me know if there's any that you've read. I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on them in the comments down below. If they're the ones that I haven't read yet and you didn't like them, maybe don't tell me, please. But if I have read them and you didn't like them, feel free to tell me, that's fine. So yeah, please let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and if you're doing Reading Women Challenge, I'd really like to hear that as well and hear what you're reading. I'll see you again soon for another video. Bye!